everyone. It's Gina Bulow coming to you from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, where I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And welcome. Happy Monday. I hope you guys can find me this morning. I realized as I was getting all set up and stuff that I never created the event on YouTube. I had all of my other events in, but not this one. So you guys weren't able to click in and know that it was there because I didn't have a link set up. So it's all there now. So when you guys find me, say hello, tell me where you're coming from, and most of all, tell me what you did for Mother's Day. It was a wonderful Mother's Day for me. Saturday was kind of my family time. My kids were all around and we went to a greenhouse that was about an hour away from where we are. Hello, Miss Angelique. Welcome. I'm so excited to see you here and looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks as the Fun in the Sun will be here before we all know it. So we went to a greenhouse that was about an hour away, and then we spent a good portion of the morning there looking at plants and vegetables and what can we do for our garden this year. And then we came home and we made a really nice meal, and then everybody worked and it was a really peaceful day. No one was arguing or you're touching my square. You know how it is when you're in the car and you're all squished together, and they love to do that, except it is more why are you looking at my phone? You've got your own phone type thing now that they're all older, so we don't have as much touching as we do. What are you looking at my phone for? Why are you being privacy, you know? So anyways, we had a really good day, came home, cut grass. There's a tree in our field that the guys have been working on probably since last fall, a really big tree, and they've been whittling at it, and we finally got it all collected up and chopped up and all that. So we were able to finish that this weekend. And then we went over to Christine's parents out at the farm and had a wonderful Mother's Day there. Gina, of course, made a wonderful spread for all of us. And then the guys went out and did little chores. There was tractors running, skid steers running. I think they have the garden ready for planting. They did some landscaping, some sledgehammering on stuff. I don't know what they did. Kind of did my own thing. Bella and I, well, Glenn had to help a little bit because neither one of us will get on a ladder. They have these beautiful eagles that are carved out of old tree stumps, and I paint those every year or stain them, you know, to protect them and stuff. So we did that, and then, you know, Christine and I had some good time chit-chatting, Stampin' Up, and it was just a really good day, and we couldn't have asked for better weather this weekend. Absolutely gorgeous here. So that was my weekend. How was everybody else's weekend? So you guys can fill me in on that while I show you what's coming up. So this weekend, so Friday will be the live version, and Sunday I'll be hosting the in-person version, but we are going to be working with weekend adventures for our workshop kit class. So remember the workshop kit classes, we're making 6 alternative layouts. So here are the layouts for this. The class is a $70 order, so you have to place a $70 order through me. You need to either order this kit if you don't have it already, or if you have this kit, you can order $70 worth of whatever. This is really fun. We haven't had a more, I guess, masculine kit come through in the scrapbooking world yet, so I was really excited to do this one. Hello, Linda, coming from Canada. Welcome. And so I was really excited for this kit. So, you know, we're gonna have a fun nature, definitely Tyler inspired workshop here. And it has these beautiful papers. So this is a workshop kit. There's also DSP with a sticker sheet that coordinates with it. So we have, I don't want to pull these out because sometimes they come off and you can't get them back in the bag. But you have a sheet of die cuts, and you have a sheet, 2 sheets of die cuts in this one. And there's usually a sticker sheet, but maybe there's not. Okay, here we go. Sticker sheets way in the back. So we got stickers. We have our two-toned cardstock. So it looks like basic beige, misty moonlight, old olive. We've got some vanilla cardstock in here. We've got 2 sheets of dies and this paper, some wood grain DSP, and then kind of a speckled or a starry night with some trails going on the back, some acorns and trees, and then this beautiful plaid and some stripes, black and white. So that is the workshop kit. So we'll make 5 cards and 6 alternative pages with this kit. So I'm really looking forward to this. I just got it, so I'll be cracking this open today actually, and there's a stamp set that coordinates with it too. So I got this. I don't know if I'll incorporate it or not, but I did really like it, so I got it. But I'll probably be incorporating, we have Scenic Adventures, which has mountains and trees, so I'll be incorporating that with this kit, and we'll add some ribbon and things like that. The other thing we have going on right now is if you have a list of things that you want to get on your wish list, now is the perfect time to get it at a discount. They are offering to join Stampin' Up! I believe it's $166 for $99. What a steal. So you're going to get free shipping. You're going to pick $166 worth of product of whatever you want and get it all for $99. Plus you'll get a paper pumpkin in there. I forget what else. There'll be some business supplies that come in there, but it is a great way with a new catalog if you want to stock up on all the new ink colors, whether it's the blends, the markers, the cardstock, DSP. Now's the time to stock up or get any of the new bundles that are out. This is a great time to get it and get it at a discount. And then every time you order through yourself, you get a 20% discount. Plus on top of that, you're still earning rewards. So it is a really great time to come join my team, whether you want to do anything with this or you just want to be a discount shopper and get a discount on your product. I would love to have you join me. So that's the big news with Stampin' Up! Right now. And I know Christine, one thing we did not discuss is how many kits and stuff she has left for Fun in the Sun. That is the first week in June. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you that first week in June. I think it starts the 4th and goes through that weekend. I will be here on the 4th doing a presentation. So anyways, I think that's what I got for exciting stuff for you guys. So let's get stamping. So we have the card buffet, and I was really excited to bring you guys the card buffet because I really love these cards, and they're so much fun, and they're so, I guess you want to say, versatile. Sometimes it's hard to get a little bit of everything, and I felt I was able to get a little bit of everything, from masculine cards to fun cards to birthday cards to congratulations. So we have a little bit of everything to share with you today. So here is our first card we're going to play with. This is from the set Notes and Totes. And here is the stamp set that it coordinates with. And actually, I'm going to start, I don't have the stamp set up for this one. We're going to start with the mountain one. How's that sound? I feel like I'm echoing here. Maybe my volume was on. So we're going to start with the mountains. That way I can take those stamps off and put them on my stamp case. And so we're going to start with this one first. And this is Scenic Adventure. So this is the set that I'll be bringing in to coordinate with the weekend adventures. I have to keep all these straight. It's so hard to remember all of these sometimes. So I'm going to bring this in, and this has these beautiful trees and mountains. So we're going to add some of those dies to that set. Okay. Pull the right card out here. All right, so you're going to have a crumb cake base. This, I would say, would be a Tyler inspired card. And we have our white insides. We'll set that aside for now. You're going to have a piece of Lost Lagoon, This is cloud cover, so this is a new in color, and I've already cut your circle out. That's gonna go layered like that. But first, we're gonna add this white square. So I'm actually gonna put that on right away. And before I glue it down permanently, I just wanna make sure that I do need to slide it over a little bit so it doesn't show through but yet covers my circles. So that looks good. You got a piece of the wood DSP, which I'm so excited it carried over. And I'm gonna put that on first. And I only put glue on the edges here. And I'm putting this piece on first because then I'll know where to place my mountains. And your mountains are going to be, it's going to be longer. You're going to see this over here. You're going to cut that off. So what I did is I'm going to place it about where I want it. Actually, I'm going to glue it down first. We're going to put a little bit of glue right here and right here. And then I'm going to add dimensionals. So just like that, we're going to cut the excess off. And then we're going to pop it up. Actually, we need to put our twine on first. I always do this. I get ahead of myself. Some of you got the crumb cake twine and some of you got linen thread. I realized I did not have enough linen thread, but they look very similar. And so some of you got this and some of you got in your kits. Now kits are still available. I have kits left over and cut. So if anyone would still like a kit, please reach out to me. You're going to want to make these gorgeous cards. So I folded it in half. I don't know what this little tiny piece was going to do for me. Okay, so now that you've got that down, now we can add this to our card base. So did anyone do anything special for Mother's Day? When we went to the greenhouse, it was packed, but like I said, it was such a beautiful day. I think everyone was just happy to be out and about and enjoying the nice weather. And okay, so now we are ready My hands are not working with me today, it looks like. Not too bad. Slide it down just a little bit. You do have to be careful if you're lifting this up on this edge so you don't rip your edge, but there we go. Now we can adhere this to our card base. There we go. And I, of course, I'm gonna glimmer up my trees. I feel like my trees need to be glimmered up. I know Tyler would say that's a little too much glitter going on, but think of it as the morning dew laying on the branches. Now you could also add a little bit of ink, and I think that's what I'll do. I'll bring in some Lost Lagoon just to help my little tree not get lost with the two big ones. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of ink to darken it. There we go. Just to help it pop out a little bit. Okay. So then we'll put our little trees. I shouldn't say little. These are our big trees. Pop them up over there. Good morning, Carissa. You went to see your mom, and you'll never guess. I went to game 5 of the Admirals playoffs, and they advanced to the next. So is there another game in your future? That's like the best day ever. Did you know you were going to the game? And I believe Saturday you were here, Carissa, and you had a class in person, so it sounded like that went well. So your trees are gonna go off in the corner like so. And I'm gonna take a little sliver off the edge here. And that tree is just gonna go in the middle of those two. Okay, so now we have our label. And it's super cool the way this stamp is set up. So, this stamp set here, so you have let thee begin, and then there's a space here. Well, this is one stamp right here. So you're gonna have both words, or both sets of words on here. Let's see. I used crumb cake and I brought basic beige instead. Oh no, I have crumb cake here. So you're gonna stamp let thee begin, and then they have journey or adventure that you can put in between. So very cool that they have that all lined up for us already. So I'll stamp that in the middle of my label. And then it's nice because you can bring in two different colors. So now I'll bring in my Lost Lagoon and I will stamp journey in the middle. And like I said, it's all lined up already, so I love that you can highlight that word that's in the middle. Super cool feature. Well, Carissa, you must have had a rocking good time this weekend. Very busy, but awesome weekend. Okay, so we'll bring our label in over here and put it on the side like that. And then we have these tinsel gems. I didn't want anything, you know, real flashy or anything, but I really liked how these looked. So we'll add these to our card. Like so. We'll stamp our inside. Now I'm going to leave most of it blank because I feel like this could be, you know, someone starting a new job, a graduation. It could mean lots of different things, but I'll bring my tree in here. I don't know what I'm doing. You guys never know what you get with me. Always full of surprises. Last week I was here and could not find the stencil I made to do the bokeh technique, and it was in my thing, but it's clear, so it just blends with everything, and we improvised. We did something different, but you know, gotta make the most of it. Okay, we'll put our inside in. And there we go. This could also be a big birthday or anything like this, whatever you want that journey to be. So there we go. Oh, I'm gonna add, ooh. Always make sure that you wipe the excess color off of your Wink of Stella when you do stuff. I almost had a green mountain here. Not quite the look I was going for. So we got some glistening on our mountain. So our first card is done. Isn't this cool? I just really love how this turned out. And of course, I'm gonna do this today. I don't usually do this on screen, but I'm gonna do this today. But don't forget to do your envelopes. So I'm gonna stick some trees in the corner. You could put a trees on your back, label here, whatever you want. So now my card has an envelope right away, and it's all set to go out. All right, we'll clean this up. And I will tell you, this notes and tote set, I saw it in the catalog when we were at Onstage. I'm like, it's okay. But I have other bag stuff. I don't need this, right? Yeah, then the presenter came up and did some amazing things with this stamp set. And, well, let's just say it went in my cart. And I love it. I made this card, and I absolutely love how it turned out. It was so fun. And just, it's so summery, and that's what I love about it. Okay. So we're starting off with a crumb cake base again. Lots of pieces with this card, but so much fun. So the first thing you can do, we have a layer of, I want to call it Shy Shamrock. It's not, Summer Splash and Pool Party with the Cool Wave embossing folder here. So we'll layer those mats together. Ta-da! And then it cuts out a little fence. So I've got a little fence here for you. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut, you have three, let's just do this. We're going to put our 3 long strips down, and they're not going to come to the bottom here. They're going to get glued to the top and we'll go across. Linda, you're liking, it's a nice masculine card. Yes, I totally agree. Our last card was a great guy card. So I'm just going to layer these on my mat here. And I use the wood grain DSP. And that carried over into the new catalog. So that was very exciting. So we had this already in our previous annual catalog. I feel like you can't go wrong with this paper. Okay, now you're gonna take, and you have the skinny one. So you can see this is much skinnier than the other ones. You're gonna cut it in half. And don't put glue all the way across. I only want my fence to be over here. And you'll be covering up some of this, but I am going to just snip it right there. And that's why you don't want to have glue all the way across, just in case it shows through, depending how you lay your card out. And then you also have a strip, and we're going to tear this a little bit, but I want to make sure that I can see both. Both of my little wood panels right here. Okay. So just take your little snips in there and do that. So now we've got our fence on. We're going to take this, I got glue on my fingers, here we go. Getting messy already this morning. I better wipe them off, or everything's going to be stuck. Okay, feeling better. Okay, you're gonna just take this and tear a little strip off. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I feel like, I don't know, sand's not perfect. It's not a straight line, so I wanted to tear it up a little bit. Totally optional though. And then in here are these little dot stamps. We're gonna bring that in and we're gonna stamp that randomly all over our sand, but in basic beige. Now you could take crumb cake and stamp off, but this way I don't have to stamp off. I can just stamp directly on. And I'm turning my stamp in different directions so that my dots aren't 100% uniform or making a straight line or. Okay, so now we have our sand. And this can get glued down. And it's going to go on the bottom of your pool party, so you'll still see some of the summer splash coming through. Okay, so now we're going to take our bits and pieces here. We've got lots of little pieces, and we're going to make our bag, our sunglasses. I will say this at first was my favorite part of this whole set, were these cute little heart-shaped sunglasses. I think they're adorable. So I'm just going to put 2 dots right there. And put my 2 hearts over the top. Isn't that cool? I just love it. Okay, so now you're gonna find that this wasn't cut perfectly even. And I did that because we don't need all of this. But I could get more out of my DSP by just squishing things a little bit. And we're tucking and folding some of this in, so it doesn't matter. Up close, I don't know that you guys will see this. No, it's really hard to tell on screen, but in person, you have some stitching on the top, and then you have score lines. This cuts the score lines out for you, so you could make this a 3D item. So there is a score line that goes straight up and down, and then there is one that goes off to the side here on an angle, and then you have one here on the bottom. And this you could make a full tote where we could put little treats in it, but we're not doing that today. We're just using part of it, okay? So we're gonna bring our bone folder in and just fold in that little side piece. Like I said, you'll see 2 score lines, but we only want this little one on the edge. So that's going to be folded in. So you're going to see a little bit of this cut off. And then you're going to fold this bottom one up. But one thing you're going to do with this bottom one is you're going to cut some of this off. So I'm going to cut it on an angle because we're not even using it. Okay, so that's going to get folded like that. So you're going to have your 2 little flaps on the inside and this flap go up. Okay, now we have all of our little pieces. So you're going to put your 2 strips on that score line that goes up and down. You're going to put your 2 strips, and there's multiple ways to make this big. You could completely fold this in and you could have just a square bag like this, but I'm going for the beach bag, so we're keeping it out like that. So right on that score line, I'm going to place these 2 strips here, one on each side. And then you could turn this, so this is a handle, but I saw someone made these into headphones. They put some little black circles underneath and they made them into headphones. So there's another option for you. So I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the bottom of my handles, like that. And then this long, thicker piece goes on the bottom. Look at that. Isn't this adorable? I just love this. I would actually really like this as my own beach bag. Okay, so now this is where I'm going to put some dimensionals. Now you could glue these in, but I'm just going to put dimensionals over the edges, and then I don't even need to worry about that. Now keep in mind, we're going to tuck in a little newspaper, so don't put dimensionals all over. I'm just putting them on the edge for right now. I'll put dimensionals on our little note that we're gonna put on the inside. Okay. And I'm gonna put it on a slight angle, like this. And then we have a little scarf or bandana, whatever you wanna, I don't know if there's a special term for this on a purse or a bag, beach bag, but absolutely just love this. So I'm gonna put that off to the side. We've got a little starfish here. And we're gonna pop him up a little bit, just in the center. I'm looking at my display piece, and I squashed my poor little starfish. There we go. We're gonna hang some sunglasses off of our bag. They're gonna go right about there. So cute. I love this. Okay, so now the next thing we're gonna do, we have our little water bottle here, and I'm going to decorate it up with some hibiscus flowers here. Now, if you don't have this, but you want to put something on your water bottle, find a different flower stamp set that you have at home. You can use anything. You could put polka dots on here. You could leave it plain. Or you can see what I'm going to do in just a moment. This was a happy little accident. I made my water bottle kind of have an ombre look to it. I was so excited. I just started coloring, and then I know, Angelique, you're going to need this. I'm telling you, this is such a fun, I guess I'm ready for summer, guys. Such a fun set. So, sticking my Wink of Stella pen directly into my ink, just on the corner here, and I'm going to start off at the end here. And then I'm going to lightly, I'm just going to add a little more down through here. So that's all I did. So I started at the end here, let it get dark, and then gradually, as I saw the ink come off my Wink of Stella, I brought it down, and that kind of gave me this cool ombre look to my water bottle. And of course, I would have an orange water bottle. There we go. So isn't that cool? So you could do this with any color. You could have Coastal Cabana, you could have Melon Mambo, you could have whatever you wanted. But I thought that was super cool. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this in. While I've got my Wink of Stella out, I'm gonna Stella up my little scarf here, my little starfish, my lenses of my sunglasses, and we have this really cool seashell. You guys will see a scrapbook page come from this. I promise you that one. This will be probably a monthly scrapbook page, either during the summer months here, because this beach bag is super cool. All right, time to put I'm just putting dimensionals on one side, and we're gonna put a little glue on the other side because we're already popped up on this side from our beach bag. Oh yeah, I did it the right way. I was just gonna say, and I did it the wrong way, but I didn't. So there we go. There's our little water bottle. Now we just need our seashell. I trimmed my fingernails down, and now I can't grab any of the... So we'll put that there, and then there's a die cut, and I don't know if you guys can see the score lines, but like a little notebook paper or something like that. So there's a square here and like a binding on this side, and then up here is where you could put a header. So this is where They have 3 different stamps that you can put in this little header. So we've got Newsflash, You're Fabulous, Exclusive, Made for You, and So Grateful, A True Story. So I'm going to do Newsflash on this one. The other one I did exclusively Made for You. And I don't know about you guys, but I love the new in color Sea Secret. It has become my new like black ink pad. Even though it's slightly on the bluish side, I love it, and I've been using it kind of in place of Memento. So you're going to stamp this up on top on your little, so you made like a little newspaper notebook, whatever you want to call this. And then we'll put a few dimensionals behind. There we go. And then we're going to just tuck this in like so. But make sure you can see all of your words. So you may have to lift up your tote. This is what I end up doing this a lot, as I tend to tuck things in and lift things up, and maybe you want to put this on first before you put your tote, but that's just kind of how I roll. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? I love this. Okay, so now we're ready to put this on, and I have the cover off. I don't need to unscrew it. And I love all the colors in this set. This works really great. Now, this DSP did not carry over, but I could not use it to make a tote bag. And then my gems here are the gems from this DSP. So this was from Ocean Friends. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Absolutely love this. And then I'm making this a birthday card. So we're going to bring in happy birthday. We're going to stamp it in our Sea Secret. And this is with You and Mine stamp set. It has these big, big words. I have a rhinestone on here. We have a diamond. Okay, so we have that. And then we will bring in that hibiscus again. And you could stamp it down in the corner. We're gonna stamp it right here with our word. Like that. Adorable. And of course, we're gonna bring in our envelope. Stamp right there in the corner. And we're going to glue our inside. There we go. Card number 2 done. So we're all ready for summer now, right? It can come. We're going to the beach. All right, so that one is done. Move things over. It's amazing how fast you can make a mess, right? Between dimensionals and paper and... Okay, let's see which one I grab here. This is our flower card. So this is Impressions of Bloom. This is an online exclusive. Comes with these beautiful flowers and these ovals, which I absolutely love. Dawn, you're loving the tote. I know. Love the tote too. And obviously, Crumb Cake was the color of card bases for this. I didn't even realize it till I put it together. So another thing I did, and I don't know why, but Darling Duckling is one of the colors in this suite. But I made this with crushed curry. But all the kits were cut with Darling Duckling, which works too, but just so you know, there is going to be a slight difference because I use crushed curry versus Darling Duckling, but they both work the same. And once again, lots of little pieces. You have your oval, you've got your flowers. So the first thing we're going to do is you have your white flower, and I'm going to use a blending brush. And I'm just going to go in the center of my flower. I just want to make sure that I didn't have too much ink. Sometimes they get really saturated with ink. So tap it in, tap it off, and I'm just doing the center, leaving my outside white. Hello, Polly, welcome. Happy Monday. Okay, I've got all my pieces here. So you'll notice in your kits, it's the same piece of paper, but one side is flipped over. So that will go here, and the flipped over side will go like that. So we'll glue these down. And it was a good thing that I had this class in person already, because I realized I had forgotten twine in these kits. So it was a good thing they let me experiment on them at my house before I sent any kits out. So I've already sent one batch of kits out, but like I said, I have a bunch of kits that I cut. And so if anyone wants a kit, please reach out. Okay, so you're going to have your linen thread. It's going to go over the center of where your DSP and your two DSP meet. Hello, Susan. How are you doing? It's so nice that I can put some faces with names. You know, a lot of times I've seen your guys' names on here, but I didn't have faces to go with them. So I got to meet Deanne, Dawn, and Polly, and Susan all at On Stage, and it was so much fun, and it was such a joy to be able to, like I said, put your faces with your names. So I folded that in half so it's doubled, going over the center like that. And then we can adhere this to our card base. Centering is not my strong suit today. There we go. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to stamp happy birthday on here in espresso. And I am going to stamp it slightly to the right. So just be aware of that. Just to keep room with our flowers. So it's mostly centered, but like I said, slightly to the right. So there we go. We can add centers on to our flowers. So we've got some peach pie, darling duckling, and white that we added our centers to. And of course, you can wink a Stella these bad boys up too. Mine is running low, so we're gonna skip. I think that is probably my favorite part, is being able to meet all of you lovely ladies at demonstrator events. I know some of you recently, there was a demonstrator event in Indiana and in Illinois, and some of you were able to get together. Unfortunately, the dates just didn't work for me, but I believe there's one coming up in July. I don't know if we're supposed to say anything or not yet, locally, that I will be at. So I'm very excited for that one. Look who's here. Judy's here. She's gonna come and work hard. She does an amazing job with putting all our gems together when Chris does her samplers and things like that. She's the gem queen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm also going to put my oval slightly over to the right, not quite centered, and that just to make room for our flowers. I don't know if I could put all the gems together like that all day long. My eyes might go crazy. There's life, garage doors opening. Must be close to 10 o'clock, right? Yep. Like Tyler's probably leaving for work. Oh, I gotta put my oval on now. Now you wanna put your oval on. But just note that this oval just barely fits on here, okay? So there's two ovals that come in this kit. One oval here, it has the stitched outline and then cuts the inside out. And then there's another oval. So you can cut several ovals all at once. And one oval is bigger than the other one. So there we go. Now you can add your flowers. Like that. And you can pop them all up. You can just leave some of them popped up, whatever you want to do. Like that. And then you guys have 4 little leaves that come in here, 2 that are solid and 2 that have embossing. So you can tuck in your leaves wherever they work for you in here. Like, I think I don't have, there, I didn't get one of the dimensional backs off. I could feel it. Why wasn't my flower sticking down? And then we have, whoops, a little linen thread bow that we'll tuck in here. Like that, and you can just cut your tails where you want them to be. Simple. And then we have these, I forget what they're called, little gemmies here that I'll put in the center of our flowers. And our inside, we're going to put, this is from Sketch Butterflies, which is retired, but wishing you a beautiful birthday. So we're going to stamp that in espresso. And then for the stamp set, so this is Impressions, a Bloom. You get a solid image, and then you get the this other image, we'll call it that, okay? So you're gonna stamp in Darling Duckling. I'm going to stamp off and put it in the corner here. And then for the detailed one, we are going to put that one on full strength. I figure out how I line these up. We're just gonna go with it. There we go. I did pretty good, actually. Sometimes I impress myself. And then there is a little center stamp that I did not do very well. Let's see. It's gonna get multiple centers. There we go. He's got a really big center. And that's how you make that work. So when you don't stamp in the middle, you just do that. Okay. Now you can glue this inside on the, oh, that glue came out really easy. So there we have that. Okay, bring your envelope in. We're gonna stamp on the back of our envelope this time. Remember to stamp off. I'm just going to put it in the center of my label, and then we'll do full strength. There we go, and hopefully I can get the center of my flower on correctly this time. There, that's much better. That's how your center should look. Okay, so card number 3 is done. So we're halfway there. You guys are gonna love the next one. This was probably, I would say, everybody's favorite card because the DSP is so pretty in this set. Now, can I remember what the name of this DSP is? Nope. But it has this beautiful scenery in the back, and isn't it pretty? Now, just note, anyone who got these kits, I had 4 different DSPs that coordinated well with this. So they're all might be slightly different. We'll see if mine is slightly different. But this is a 6x6 paper, so trying to find a pattern that would work that I could at least get 2 cards out of was the goal here. So you're gonna have 2 sheets of basic beige. One is for the outside with your frame, and one is for the inside. I didn't do a white inside. I did a basic beige inside, and we do have a different one. So this one is slightly different, but has the same concept. So there was this one, and one that had kind of some mountains and trees in the background, and there was one that had sailboats. So all of them coordinated with this. So what you're going to do is adhere your piece of DSP in the center like this, and then you have your frame. This I used the Texture Notes rectangle frames, and I used 2 of them. So I had a larger one that cut the outside, and I took a smaller one and I put it on the inside, and that's how I got this frame. Now there is a stamp set and frames that coordinates with this, that has a frame, has I think 2 frames in it that coordinates with this, but I just made a frame using 2 of the dies that I already had. Okay, we'll peel all those off. Now, if you don't want this to be a sympathy card, it could be a birthday card, it could be a happy anniversary card, it could be whatever it is that you want it to be at home. Okay, so you're going to have a very thin border, a basic beige, around your frame. Well, I couldn't have done that twice. I laid that on there pretty good. So you just got that thin border right there. Burnish our edge here. And now we can adhere this. Like so. I'm going to bring in our pop-ups here. It's so quiet here online today. You must all be working hard and watching me at the same time. I know many of you can either work from home, which is a nice perk. So this is going to go down here in the corner, like that. We're going to stamp with Sympathy. In espresso. There we go. Then I'm going to flip this over and add some tear tape and add my ribbon. We just have a thin layer of this new kind of sheer mesh ribbon that's got this gold on it. I thought that was really, really pretty. Make sure you put the ribbon on straight though. Mine's not going on straight. There we go. We'll just angle our ends. Put some dimensionals on there. And I'm actually going to add a double dimensional on this side because this side is already popped up. So that way my label lays on here evenly. Isn't that pretty, guys? Paper does all the work for us. And then you have these little gems, and I thought I'd just put these in the corners of our frame. You can place them, of course, anywhere you want. This one's kind of hidden, but that's okay. Then we'll bring in that other piece of basic beige. Remember, that's our inside instead of white. My heart goes out to you. And then I have some Mossy Meadow, and this is from the Thankful Gardens. I have this little leaf right here. We're going to stamp that in the corner. And then I will bring in, I don't know if this is a different Wink of Stella. Yes, it is. I have two of them here. And this picks up some of that green ink and fills that in. And we'll stamp our envelope. We'll stamp that down in the corner here. I'm like, wait, this is really juicy. There we go. That's why. Okay. So that is card. Hello, kitty. He's over here playing. I just shut the computer a little bit so he doesn't get too excited and start walking across here. Getting his morning drink out of the faucet. Okay, so there's our Sympathy card. Simple, easy. Look how pretty that is. And DSP just speaks for itself between this wood grain DSP and this DSP back there. So the same card, two different patterns, but both beautiful cards. Okay, so we have that. We'll clear these stamps out of the way. We use lots of stamps in this one. Okay. On to our last two cards. Some more fun cards. Summary cards. We've got sailboats and celebratory sips, or cheers and sips, however you want to. So we are going to work with cheers and sips first. This one we have a blackberry bliss base and some timid tiger. Look at that. I love the timid tiger. And this corrugated folder. Absolutely love the corrugated embossing folder. So, just one thing I want you to note when you use this corrugated folder, that you want to add another like 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch in length when you're doing this, because it does shrink. I found that out when I first put that piece in, and then it was fine on the two sides, but top and bottom, I had this much gap on the bottom instead of, you know, it wasn't even. So make sure that when you use that corrugated folder that you adjust the size of your paper accordingly. Okay. We were talking about this, I think on my last live. How many of you have the crimper yet? Anyone have the crimper where you could do this to your paper, but you ran it through a crimper instead? So this is the DSP that coordinates with this set. And you're just gonna get a strip here. And I should have probably put this on before I glued my mat down, because my piece is slightly longer. That's okay, we made it work. There we go. So you're each gonna get 2 glasses of the DSP. All you have to do is fussy cut them. I know that sounds like awful. I'm saying awful words by telling you guys you need to fussy cut them, but it's not that bad. They're just glasses. Now, I am going to cut my umbrella off of this one, because included in here was an umbrella. So I'm going to put the umbrella with this string over the top. I could put it on the other one, but I don't want 2 umbrellas. But you can do whatever you want with your drinks. And each of you have different drinks, whatever was in the DSP. So you're going to get a tall drink and you're going to get a short drink. So your umbrella can go on either one. And I tried to give each of you one that had already something in the drink. So you'll find on this one here, this one had ice cubes in it, and it has this, I don't know if this is rosemary or whatever in it. So I tried to give you guys one of each. So one that was probably solid and one had something with it. Okay, so we have that done. And the other thing you have is your little umbrella. Now, we all know we don't have the cloud cover ink, right? So instead of using the ink pad, because they're not happy with the performance of it, I'm using my Stampin' Write marker, and I am inking up my image with that. You're gonna huff it a little bit and lay it over the top. If you don't have the stamp set, no worries. Now this one didn't, I must have not had enough ink up here. hard to tell because it's a light color. Or I just didn't press firmly because I have a big block here. So we're going to stamp over it again. Hope that I can line them up the same. I did pretty good. So just note that if you have a Stampin' Right marker, you can always ink up, or let's say you have 2 words stamped, like our mountain set here. Let's say you wanted each one of these, we stamped, this was one stamp, remember, let thee begin. You could use your Stampin' Right marker and make this one color, and then make this another color. So that would be a way to get 2 different colors on your stamped image. Okay, so now the fun part, we'll see if I can get it poked through. You're gonna take your ribbon, oh that went through nice, guys. Like this. And then you have this short little piece of linen thread. And you're gonna just take this and tie a knot. Oop, I'm out of the screen. So I'm just tying a little knot down here. And then, am I missing my bow? That is the question. I don't see it. You should have a little bow in your kit to put over the top of this, so it'll look like this. Okay? I thought I put all the bows in, but maybe I missed one. Hopefully I just missed mine and not your guys's. Okay. And if I ever miss anything in a kit, please reach out to me and let me know. I will gladly send you any missing pieces. I definitely don't do it on purpose, but sometimes it just happens, and sometimes too, between my husband and my daughter, I double check things, but you know, things happen, or I just forget something myself. So, and I note that I had to order more linen thread and get more linen thread in. So some of them I had to tuck. I had the kits made up. And I just tucked the bows in, but obviously, like I said, I missed this one. So cut the tops of your purple posy ribbon how you want them. I popped up my label tag, I should say my tag. And I'm putting that slightly to the right, just so that we don't miss out on our DSP, right? I'm going to pop up my drinks. And I'm going to not put them necessarily on here completely straight. They're kind of tilted a little bit. And our little umbrella here. Now you could, if you wanted to, there is a piece that comes with this that can be your little straw. It's like a little toothpick. But I find I did originally have that with this card, but I actually didn't add it in. So I originally put it on with this card, but you don't even see it. So I didn't add it to the kit. So this one you're going to see because it already has the DSP that has poking through. You could always add a toothpick if you wanted to, also to give it some character. And then we're going to bring in Cheers. We're gonna stamp that in Blackberry Bliss. Hello, Miss Mary. Mischievous Mary, I call her. So we've got our label here. Like that.
When you're done, can you show the finished one and
Yeah.
what people get with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So do you have more?
I have 25 left.
Okay. And then
It's
Fun
the-
in the Sun, do you have still
I
openings?
have 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And Paper Palooza.
Okay.
Still openings.
I guess I could have two umbrellas on here. I thought having two umbrellas on here might be weird, so we're just gonna cut this umbrella off and add it, cause why not? It looks a little bland right there, but I need to add my gems yet, so. But I'm just looking at this cute umbrella and I don't want to waste it. So we're gonna have two fun drinks like that. We're gonna add, so they come with some ombre strawberries. I believe it's strawberry slush. Gems that comes with this suite. So we'll add those. Add one here, here, and here. And then for our inside, we're gonna have some birthday wishes. Yes, it is, Mary. Grape juice and pink lemonade is what we got. With fancy umbrellas. We like to make drinks like that in my house. My kids love to make, we call them dirty sodas, where we will add, let's say Sprite with a little bit of grenadine, and they put a little bit of vanilla syrup in and a splash of heavy whipping cream. And they think that's so cool, and you know, they get a straw, and sometimes there'll be an umbrella, sometimes there won't. That was a drink thing that I think I did it for New Year's, and they really like it. So on special occasions, they get to have their little mocktail. So then I'm taking, I have a little orange slice here, and I'm coloring that in with my Stella pen. And we'll bring in an envelope, and we'll put a little orange slice on the outside of that. And color it up. My son, my youngest one, he is into oranges right now, so he can't get enough oranges. He's eating oranges like they're gonna run away or something on him. He does that. He is my kid that he falls in love with something and he eats it and eats it, and then I think it's like he overdoses on it and then he doesn't want it anymore. One year Janet had him hooked on green beans. He could not get enough green beans, and that's all he wanted with every meal was green beans. Now I can't get him to eat green beans. So there we go. Here is this fun card. So even if you don't like alcoholic drinks, that's okay. Pretend they're a fun drink like we make with the kids. So there is that card. So that was from Cheers and Sips. I put the two words together. And our final card, we're gonna go sailing. And this is an online exclusive. And I need a couple of empty blocks here. So we're gonna do a little bit of watercoloring. Completely optional. Lots of cool stamps with this one. Okay. Lots of pieces too. So, we've got a navy card base. Our Poppy Parade and our white inside. Now, of course, I cannot send stamped images, but this is a hybrid embossing folder, so it also cuts out. So there's a die that you can put in your embossing folder, and I'll die cut out the sailboat. It's got some water here and some clouds. And we're gonna start off by doing a little bit of our watercoloring. Okay, my paper towel here. I've got my Whisper White and Balmy Blue. Linda, you love sailboats. I've never been on a sailboat. I've been on a catamaran. I've never been on a sailboat. So I like to ink up my blocks instead of squeezing them into my ink pad. I got my aqua painter. So my clouds, I'm gonna fill in and do the outline of my clouds with my Whisper White ink. Now, those of you who missed out, I did a video last week. My technique for this month was using Whisper White ink and the different ways you can use Whisper White ink in your card making. So go check it out if you didn't. You know, a lot of us have maybe Whisper White ink that has been sitting on our shelf getting dusty because we're like, what do I stamp that's white? You know, and you want it to be contrast. And sometimes with some colors you don't see it a lot, but I showed you different ways. We embossed with it, we colored with it. I showed you guys how to do, we colored like we are right now on crumb cake, and then we colored it in with actual colors. So we colored first in white, and then we colored over it with color, and it helped that color pop right off of our page. And you can, what else did we do? We made shadows with it. We embossed, heat embossed with it. Lots of different ways to use this ink pad. Okay, so I didn't color it in so it's solid or whatever. There's gonna be dark spots, there's gonna be light spots, and as this dries, this is gonna soften. Okay, and all you have to do is rinse off your ink pad. Now I'm gonna bring the blue in here, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of blue to our water just to help it pop a little bit and look a little bit different. From our sky, just so there's a little bit of definition between the two. And I'm just kind of coloring the raised images, but if you go off the raised images, that's okay too. Like I said, I just wanted to add a little bit of depth in there. And don't forget to wipe off your aqua painter. Okay, So we're gonna set that aside, and while that dries, we're gonna bring in our Night of Navy and our Poppy Parade. Now, if you don't have the stamp set, that is okay. My blocks are stuck together. Gotta use my muscles to tear them apart. You can always take, you guys, Stampin' Write marker or your blender pen, and because this is embossed already, you could emboss, or you could take your marker and just trace the outline of your boat in Night of Navy, and then you can always add red stripes if you want to. So don't worry if you don't have this stamp set. So there we've got that. So that's our outline. Then there is this other piece that colors in the bottom of our boat. I'm going to ink that up, but then I'm going to stamp it off. And then stamp it. And then we're going to bring in that Poppy Parade, and that's going to make our boat really pop. There we go. Isn't that cool? I really, really like this set. Okay, so we'll set all those things aside. This is dry now. We're going to add dimensionals to our sailboat. Has anyone ever been on a sailboat before? Like I said, I've been on a catamaran, and I've been on a cruise ship, but never a sailboat. And then I'm going to put this right over the top of the boat that is embossed on my background. Then we have some navy, Night of Navy thread. We're just going to put one row over the top of our water, and then one that we're going to wrap behind our sentiment. So this too, this wouldn't have to be a congratulations card. I think this set has, let's see, what does this have in it? You can have congratulations, it's happy retirement, best wishes, ahoy. You could put whatever sentiment that you have on here. This could be a graduation card. It could be whatever you want it to be. Father's Day is coming up. Mary, you went on one during cheerleading camp. Huh. Sailboating during cheerleading camp. And it was a really big one. Did you like it? Okay, so we're going to put congratulations on here. And I'm not going to stamp my sentiment upside down, even though it would not matter. Okay. I'll add a little tear tape. There, and then all I'm going to do is kind of wrap those back and forth. like that. So I just kind of looped it back and forth. I will have to say, I loved our catamaran ride. We did that. We went to Hawaii. My husband's brother got married there. I'm also going to angle my sides here, so I'm just going to take my snips like this. And I will say, those of you who've watched Nemo, whales really do speak, Dory speaks whale. They do sound exactly like Dory speaks in Nemo. And it was a really cool, we had the coolest captains. They were really, they were fun. Definitely they're water surfers, you know, they lived that lifestyle and they were really, cool. So we got to get up close to whales, and they also brought us up to another boat. I didn't know I signed up for this, but apparently it came with our excursion, but another boat they drove up to that was feeding sharks. So we got to encounter some sharks while we were there too. I wasn't too keen on that. I made my husband come off of the net, and my brother-in-law, us girls made them come off the net. They were sitting in the net, and we were worried the shark might come and get them through the net. So, but a cool experience if you ever get the opportunity to do that. Oh my goodness, Mary, you said you had to hang on one side to keep it from tipping during a turn, maybe. That would make me a little bit nervous. Okay, so we're putting it on our Poppy Parade mat. And then we're ready to adhere this to our card base. So we've got our Knight of Navy, and then you should have, this might be, I pulled mine out, so that could be why I don't have some things today, but there are some blue gems. They're navy gems. They're called opal rounds. They come in a pack. They're clear, there's yellow, and then there's navy. So I just added those 3 gems to the card. LOL about sharks. You're right. It was a scary thing, Mary. So now we're ready to stamp our inside. So what I did is I brought in Balmy Blue, and it has this water. So you have 2 things. You have this water and you have this water. And you can also emboss and then stamp this water over the top of it, and it kind of shows the route of your boat, I guess you would call it. So I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to go slightly to the left and then slightly to the right, and then kind of move it back and forth, and you're going to see different shades of blue here. So you've got your different shades here. I'm actually going to add a little bit more dark blue like that. So I did full strength, second strength, and third strength, and just moving my water around. And then I was going to bring in You Are Destined for Great Things. I'm thinking ahead. Next year I'm going to have a lot of graduations. Though I'm thinking they're all going to be girls next year. But I'll have a year of all boys, I think, for a while. So we're bringing in our Poppy Parade. And then I felt like I just needed to add these cute little birds flying over here. So we're going to add a full strength bird and a second strength bird. Oh, and I had red on my fingers. I'm going to have to take my little ink eraser and get my my ink off. That's what happens, right? But if you have an eraser, ink eraser, that'll take that right off. I did that one of, someone had gotten ink on one of their cards, and I showed them the ink eraser, and they were pretty wowed by that. They thought they ruined their card, and I'm like, nope, 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 we can fix that. Anything is fixable. Okay, so, kind of move my hot mess over, right? We'll bring in our cards. So once again, you'll have gems here. And if for some reason I forgot something, please let me know. We forgot to stamp our envelope though. What should I stamp on my envelope? We could stamp water, or we'll stamp some water. How's that? I'm going to take my envelope and I'm just going to do, how am I going to do this? Or flip this over. I'm gonna do it like this, guys. I'm overcomplicating it, right? Okay, here's our water. We're gonna bring in that balmy blue. And I put it right on the edge of my flap. And I'm just going to add all of this water first strength, second strength, and I'm going to go down the whole flap. There we go. So we got our whole flap done up in water, and I put that piece of paper here so that just my flap got done. So look at that. Pretty fun, right? Okay, so now we've got all of our cards done. Like I said, I didn't have the gems, but you'll add your navy gems wherever you want. So there's card number 1. Card number 2 was our cheers and sips. We have our sympathy card. Our flower, our beach tote, and our mountains. There we go. There we go. So here are the card buffet cards. This is all featuring new online exclusives and other new items from the annual catalog. Kits are available. I'll leave kits available until Saturday, which is the 17th. So reach out if you'd like kits. The cost is $32 plus shipping. If you have any other kits coming up with me that you want to combine shipping, let me know. So this is available. Remember, I have Weekend Adventures. We're going to be playing with that. Like I said, I'm going to crack that open this afternoon and play with that. And then we'll also have the scrapbook class for the month of May, I think. I haven't done that yet. I think I'm going to use the tools and do kind of something featuring more manly. I haven't done a manly layout in a while, so I guess this month is going to kind of be that way. We're going to have the outdoor adventures and I should say weekend adventures, but outdoorsy, and we'll do something with tools, I think, for the monthly, and then we have morning create, and then that'll wrap it up for May. So thank you guys all for joining me today. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me, Facebook, my email. I'll flip the camera over in case you guys need to glance at that. Make sure you're going over to my Facebook page and following me over there. And I say following because you can like my page, but also follow it, because when you follow it, it definitely goes through your feed, and when you like something, it doesn't always come up through your feed. So if you want to see my posts, and that's where I keep everything. If I change anything, it's all posted on my Facebook page. So that's where I keep everything updated. Like I said, oh, I got a few more things to show you. I'm gonna flip this around. We're gonna talk about Christine has DSP samplers. And look at this. She made them all yesterday. So this shows all of the DSP. So Beautiful Gallery was the DSP we used for that Sympathy card. We got Boho Vibes. So she has kits of these left over. So if anyone wants any kits for this, please reach out to Christine. Look at all these beautiful papers we have. I love, these are the new, not in color, the Color Collections DSP. So this is the brights. Then you have neutrals, regals, subtles, and in color. So really pretty. So she has this for you guys available. She also has Paper Palooza available, and I believe she said she had 15 spots left for Fun in the Sun. So she has all of those things coming up. So make sure to reach out to Christine if you would like to get any of these, or reach out to me if you would like any cards. But in the meantime too, don't forget about the special we have right now running, that you can join our team and order $166 worth of product for $99. It is a great way if you're looking that you want to get, like I said, your in colors or stock up on any bundles or anything. You're going to get that 20% discount down the line then through ordering with yourself. So take advantage of that deal right now. So I'll be back on Friday evening. I'll be here at 4 o'clock. We will work with the weekend adventures, and in the meantime, have a beautiful week. Thank you.